Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to address you at the 6th Artificial Intelligence for Information Accessibility Conference, held in commemoration of the International Day for Universal Access to Information organized by UNESCO. Today, I'm pleased to share with you my lecture entitled Artificial Intelligence at the Service of Humanity. As we know, we live in new contexts. We live in a time defined by exponential era. Here in Mexico, more than 100 million people are internet users, representing the 80% of the population. In Latin America, the figure is around 81%. And there is another revealing fact. 59% of the users are already interacting with artificial intelligence tools. AI is not an accessory. It has become a community of cognitive, creative, and analytical tools, what some authors describe as hyper objects. Above all, AI acts as a sociocultural and symbolic mediator, deeply tied to language, serving as a bridge in communication and in the construction of meaning. Yet, in this new context, we must also recognize that in its integration, AI adopts human roles and epistemic virtues like objectivity, responsibility, plausibility, reliability of knowledge, and decision making. The risk here lies in assigning to machine the profile as a scientific expert, capable of collecting, analyzing, and standardizing data without properly questioning the limit and basis. This is the framework of algorithmic collaboration between humans and machine, an interaction that, when properly oriented, amplifies our cognitive, analytical, and creative capabilities, but when poorly directed, can reinforce injustice and asymmetries. In this landscape, AI has become a copilot that imitates human intelligence and multiplies productivity. We know and we now have systems of machine learning, narrow AI specialized in specific domains, general AI aspiring to match human cognition, and future scenarios of superintelligence. All of these are reflected in daily application, like virtual assistants, voice and facial recognition, natural language processing, emotional analysis, automating reason, generation of image, sounds, and code, customer interactions, audience segmentation, or content creation. Generative AI, in particular, is redefining the way we produce and share information, but it also raises critical questions like how do we face algorithmic gaps and injustice? How do we prevent AI from amplifying inequalities, polarization, or misinformation? AI is not only a driver of productivity and international cooperation, but also is a field of geopolitical, cultural, and ethical disputes. We must never forget that every algorithm carries social implications, like from racial and gender basis to the way it molds collective imaginaries, redefines rationality around efficiently and profits, or even generates artificial identities and aesthetics. In this sense, AI is not neutral. It is an active agent of symbolic mediation. Against this risk, it is essential to imagine and implement AI as a tool for the common good. First, let us consider epistemic justice, the possibility that AI facilitates more equitable access to knowledge, incorporating indigenous, female, rural, and non-Western ways of knowing. Imagine system trained on multicultural and multilingual corpora with the colonial awareness that help overcome the marginalization of historically silenced voices. Second, the idea of integral ecology, our planet as a common home. AI can help monitor ecosystems, anticipate climate crisis, optimize energy networks, and promote sustainable public policies, always with a sense of intergenerational responsibility. A third dimension is the reconfiguration of the social emotional imaginary. AI generates narratives, emotions, and meanings that shape collective affective culture. Here, the ethical question becomes decisive. What kinds of emotions does AI reproduce? Are they ethically acceptable? Can we demand frameworks to guide their production responsibly? AI also opens opportunities in public health, clinical diagnose, digital mental health, conversational therapies, surgical assistance, and drug design. But this requires a bioethical approach to algorithms, grounded in the principle of non maleficence and justice, to avoid reproducing biomedical bases. Furthermore, AI can contribute to building a culture of peace, anticipating hate speak, detecting polarization, fostering restorative justice, and generating intercultural narratives of dialogue. And even more, AI can strengthen public philosophy and democracy by detecting misinformation, analyzing public policies in real time, and amplifying the citizens' right to truth. Lately, let us think of algorithmic aesthetics, new digital poetics, where art and machine not to replace human creativity, but to expand and in give a new meaning of context of exclusions. For AI to truly serve humanity, we must develop new competencies. The first is critical and sustainable digital literacy. Citizens must be equipped to read algorithms critically, to understand their environmental footprint, and to question the values embedded in technological design. The second is the adaptability and continuous learning. The speed of change requires us to constantly relearn, crossing disciplinary boundaries and integrating technological, ethical, communicative, and humanistic knowledge. The third is the rehumanization of the digital bound. We must never forget that behind every dataset and every interface, there are people with dignity, histories, and context deserving of respect. Building these competencies means fostering responsibility and responsible technical imagination, care for oneself and other, AI's limits, and the promotion of an active algorithm citizenship. This implies overcoming knowledge fragmentation by articulating scientific, technical, and humanistic perspective. All of this places before us enormous ethical and anthropological changes. AI confront us with fundamental rights, the rights to truth, to identity, to privacy, to equality and non-discrimination, to cultural access, and to personal data protection. It also requires us to protect the most vulnerable people with disabilities, older adults, and marginalized communities. Anthropologically, the challenge is to resist dehumanization, to remain faithful to ourselves and to our communities, to foster cultures of hope and sharing, and to sustain genuine encounters with the others. In short, ethics must guide the technological development. AI cannot be an end in itself. It must be oriented by responsibility, dignity, and the common good. Only then will be able to protect professions such as education, face the dangers of disinformation, and ensure that artificial intelligence truly become a resource at the service of humanity. I would like to conclude by repeating the question that gives meaning to this reflection. How can we ensure that artificial intelligence is truly at the service of the humanity? The answers requires fair regulation, ethical design, critical literacy, international cooperation, and above all, a humanistic vision that place the person, their dignity, and the right to truth at the very center of everything. Thank you very much.